So it is officially October, which means it is time for Halloween. Halloween is an entire month, in case you didn't know. And we will be celebrating by reading all kinds of horror books. We've got Lovecraft, we've got Poe, we've got Bram Stoker's Dracula, we've got Frankenstein, we've got Clive Barker's Books of Blood. I also have some indie author stuff. I have Ian Kirkpatrick Cake's Bodymore 1 and 2, and I have something new by Thomas Godfrey, who wrote All Hail the Carrion King, and as you guys know, I read that last month and absolutely loved it. So I have all kinds of great, creepy, either dark fantasy or horror or suspense type stuff coming for October, so I'm really excited about that, because I like to be scared. I like to be creeped out. I like that sort of, oh no, that sort of feeling. I don't know why, but clearly I'm not alone, or there wouldn't be entire book and movie and television genres about it. So we're going to explore some of that. Fair warning, if you are super sensitive, a lot of these books I'm reading are not going to be for you. You're not going to like them. Doesn't mean you won't like any of them. And there's some controversy around some of the authors, especially the older authors like Lovecraft. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But so that's the plan for October. As far as what I did in September, of course, I read a few books and I did a ton of writing. Not new writing. Heavy edits on Trophy Braid, which seems a little weird. And if you've been around for a while, you're probably going, Effie, didn't you just say you were going to submit Query Braid to Query? Or Query Braid? Didn't you just say you were going to submit Trophy Braid? Yes, I did. I did actually send it out to Query. I think I sent it to 8 or 10, not very many. Enough to get a measure of how effective my pitch was. And I did not get great responses. But I don't think it's the query letter that's doing it. And it's not that the writing in Trophy Braid is particularly bad, at least I don't think so, and the people I've had read it did not seem to think so. But it is not within the word count parameters that are expected for a fantasy book. So, anything over, 40,000 words is technically a novel, and Trophy Braid was right at 45,000. Now, I say anything over 45,000 is a novel. Fantasy runs a little high. Fantasy tends to run, 60, 80, 100, 110. So Trophy Braid was very small compared to other books in that genre. And if it's just the one thing about the book that's a little quirky, sometimes you can, sneak in with it. It appears that this is not one of the things you can sneak in with. So what I'm doing, Trophy Braid was a single perspective character story. It was her story based on the choices she made and the impacts and consequences of the choices and the things that happened to her and the people around her because of the choices she made. However, there is this whole other world going on around her, some of which she's aware of, some of which she is not, that caused the consequences, right? So in the book, Kala makes a choice, and then from that choice, there are ripple effects, things that affect her, things that affect her friends, things that affect her tribe, things that affect the neighboring tribes. And what I've done is go in and weave in the perspectives of some of those other people. So instead of it just being Kala's story, it's still Kala's story, but you also get to see things from her best friend Mbatu's side. You get to see things from Mbatu's wife, Okiri. You get to see it from her side. So two of her tribe mates, her best friend, who is also her raid leader, and his wife, who is one of the women with 2 braids. So that means she stays in the village and looks after the families, and they are the keepers of knowledge. They are the thing that holds the tribe together, are these women with 2 braids, and Okiri is one of them. And also you get to see it from Elwis's perspective, and Elwis is the villain. You know, in Kala's story, Elwis is the villain. In Elwis's story, he's not, but from her perspective, he's the bad guy. And so I've added those 3 perspectives into the story. It's the same story. I'm telling the same story. I'm just adding more of the background information, more of the reasons that things are happening, more of the driving forces behind the consequences, basically. So that you can sort of see a little more of what's happening and why, rather than just filling it in with your imagination, which is fine. But I needed to extend it. So the easiest way to do that I know of is to add additional perspectives. So instead of a mono-perspective story, it is now 4 people's perspective, which does actually put it in line with the rest of the Tiranock books, which are all multi-perspectives. So to be entirely honest with myself, it needed to be done. It's just a heck of a lot of work. So I'm about, I would say, probably 2/5 of the way through it. I'm almost halfway through it. And it's so much better. If I had known that it would lift the story the way that it has, I would have done it ages ago. It's so much richer. The characters are so much better developed when you get to see things from a different angle. You don't just get Kala's very narrow, very selfish impression of everybody. You also get to see their, motivations and the reasons that they're doing the things that they're doing. And it's really enhanced the story in a really dramatic way that I didn't expect, or else I would have done it already. And it's got the added bonus, because of course some of the chapters are being rewritten in different perspectives, but there are new chapters being added. And so it has the added bonus of expanding the manuscript so that it is more genre appropriate. So we're at about 57,000 words, and like I said, I've got about 3/5 left to go. So I expect it'll be, between 60 and 80,000, which is what is expected with this kind of book. So I think maybe I will have a little easier time querying it once it is within those parameters. And of course, it gives me the opportunity to tweak the query letter too, maybe make the blurb a little more punchy, a little more interesting. I think that it's generally correct, but a little tweaking is not going to hurt. It's not going to make it worse, certainly, hopefully. So that's where we are with the query process. Other things I did, I got to go to Kansas City. I got to go to like 6 different independent bookstores while I was in Kansas City, which was fantastic. I saw my buddy Dave, and Dave and I have been friends for probably 20 years. I was in my early 20s, and I'm 40 now. So Dave and I have been buds for almost 40 years, or 20 years. And so that was great. And my niece got married, so that was fantastic. Our chickens started laying. I don't know if you remember back in April, we got 4 little chicks, and they're starting to lay eggs now, so that's really fun. And yeah, all in all, September's been wild and busy, really, really busy, but busy in a good way, busy in a productive way, busy in I'm getting things done that needed to be done that I'd been either putting off or trying to act like they didn't need to happen. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So yeah, for October, we are going to be doing we're doing the giveaway for All Hail the Carrion King on the 15th. So make sure you sign up for that at effywritesbooks.com. If you want to see the review for All Hail the Carrion King, I will make sure that I link that down below. That's All Hail the Carrion King with a G. I know that I kind of flubbed it a minute ago. But yeah, it's been a heck of a month, and I am really looking forward to this sort of like October Horror Fest. Okay, bye. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and of course if you like the way that I present information, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below. You can find all of my social media contacts in the description, and of course if you want to keep up with me and the progress I'm making on my current novel, you can do that at effywritesbooks.com. Thank you so much for watching, have an excellent day, and I'll see you next time.